Hello, in this video, we will look at passing arguments. How arguments are passed. In the preceding videos, we demonstrated through animation. We see the arguments are passed through their reference. In Python, all the data are objects. Objects as a reference. So when you have this integer 2 is assigned to I, so what is I? I is actually a reference that points to the object that holds integer 2. So when you pass data, you actually is to pass the reference of the data. So this is what happens. We're going to look at this animation. Let's start with this program.
The statement loads the definition of the main function to the memory. The statement loads the definition of the increment function to the memory. The statement invokes the main function. The main function is invoked. The statement assigns 1 to variable x. The statement displays x before calling increment x. Check your understanding. What will be x after invoking increment x?
Now, this is a very interesting thing here in Python. Now you have this x and n is now same as x, but when you change n, you have to create a new object because integers, floating point numbers, strings are so-called immutable objects. You cannot change its content. If you change content, you have to make a new object. See, this is something interesting. So what it will be x? X is actually still 1. So let's look at.
You are correct. X will still be 1.
Here.
Let us continue to see how it works.
Now you see
The statement invokes the increment function.
how this is
The
passed.
increment function is invoked.
So
X and n point to the same number.
the reference of this object, x, is passed to n. So this x and n now points to the same object. But the next
The
line,
statement increments n by 1.
you're
Which
creating
causes a new int object to be created.
a new
The new number
object.
2 is now assigned to n. Note that x is still 1.
So the new object is created because the object is immutable. This is 1 is here. You cannot change its content, so you get a new object here. N now points to new object. And what is x? X still 1. In the next chapter, when we introduce list, we're going to see that you pass a list to a function when you change the contents of the list in that function, and that list is also changed when the call is returned back to the caller. So that is, let's talk about immutable objects more. So this x is 4. You're going to assign x to y. So what happens is now x, y points to the same object. Look at the reference. ID is the same. ID is the same. So they're the same object. And here, now we're going to do this y plus 1 sent to y. So what is the y? Y is a new object, which is different from the x, the previous one. So you can see it from this diagram here. And this is 4 assigned to x. So this is 4. This is x assigned to y. So they're the same now. Now you have y plus 1 to y. So now you have a new object for y. That is all for this section on passing arguments. See you on the next video.